Hi there, my name's Rachel. It is day 36 of the current lockdown. I am here to tell you that we are still not alone. I'm recording this on Tuesday the 8th to kind of go out on Wednesday the 9th. Is that right? No, Tuesday the 9th, Wednesday the 10th. Very confusing. Anyway, it's Tuesday, but I'm going to release this on Wednesday. A little bit of honesty there. Because one of the things I'm noticing is I want to do a video a day, but I also don't want this to feel like a chore. And there's been a couple of times in this current run where I've gone, oh, I haven't got the time to do it today, or oh, I didn't manage to do it yesterday. And there's a potential for that to give a sense of failure. And let's face it, we're always already good enough at telling ourselves we failed when actually we are good enough. So I wanted to share something about the power of writing and the power of journaling. So I have some examples of my journals. This is my current one, which you remember that brief period of time when you could go back to restaurants? Well, I got this from my favourite restaurant in Newcastle, which is Dabblewell, and that was back in August, I think. This is from a stationery shop, and so is this one. And I often talk to people about journaling, and some of the younger generation will go, oh, I'll just write it in notes on my phone. And I have to kind of just hold back on, maybe that's absolutely fine. Maybe I'm just being an old fuddy-duddy. But there's just something so lovely about actually physically having a pen, having a book that feels lovely, that you can, rather than scrolling, you can kind of just open it. I mean, look, that's gold down the side. It's so lovely. You could just open it at a page and kind of go, oh, what did I have to say then? What did I have to say then? And I just think that's a really lovely experience. So some people get put off journaling for a number of reasons. I think one is the cringe factor of the teenage diary, which let's face it, most of us, if we kept a diary and if we ever look back, it's, oh my goodness, I was so pretentious, I was so boring. Because let's face it, if we've got the time to write in a teenage diary, it's probably because there's nothing to write about. And as soon as things start to happen, we don't write anymore. Well, certainly that was my experience. I wrote an awful lot about somebody that I fancied who didn't know that I existed. I wrote an awful lot about my deep inner reflections, and very little else, because nothing was happening. Because I had a relatively straightforward, boring teenage existence. But I've still always been drawn to journaling. I think the other difficulty with journaling is that often people have this idea, and I don't think I really agree with it, or don't entirely agree with it, that journaling is a good way of getting the bad feelings out. So we write it down and then it's gone because it's on paper. Now, my fear with this is what actually happens for a lot of us is we get it down on paper, and what we're doing is we're reinforcing it, because the act of writing means that we're kind of solidifying it, and we can not only has it been in our head, but we can see it. So we've got all of these intrusive thoughts, these worries, and we just stream of consciousness, write it down, and then every time we look back, it's like negative. So I would encourage, if you are to do that, to only let that be a small part of your journal. So I'm going to share a little bit of this one. So this is a combination of a gratitude book, an affirmation book, and just whatever's on my mind. But it's things that I want to feel comfortable reflecting back on. So the first line in it is, I am grateful for this book and the ability to write. There's lots of references to the cat. I love my Shima, and she has fabulous company. I have copied out some kind messages I've received from other people. And back in July, my little wins. So I'll share a couple of them. Number 1 in my little wins, for Saturday the 18th of July, I put my bathroom mirror up. Number 2, I put my hall mirror up. So a little bit of DIY, which might be a simple task to many people, but I'd been putting it off for months. I booked a week off. Anyone who knows me will know that that's actually quite a big thing for me, to actually book time off. What am I grateful for? Seeing my nan. I think that was on Zoom. A chat with a friend, again, probably on Zoom. I'm getting a new dress, a surprise dress through the post from my mum. Things that I'm looking forward to. This shows how long ago it was. One of the things I was looking forward to in July was getting a haircut. Wow. And I think, it really does kind of remind us of how things change. So, yeah, put what you want in your journal, but I would really suggest bringing in some affirmations, things that you would like to believe about yourself and the world, because they're just thoughts. And we only believe things because we've thought them so many times. So why don't we change it? So affirmations, little wins, gratitude, and things we're looking forward to. And it feels really lovely to reflect back on this book, whereas looking on my childhood teenage diaries, not so nice. Yesterday's kindness meditation was a memories of kindness. Who has been kind to me in the last week? My colleague bought me lunch and picked me up and gave me a lift home. One of our service users has been sharing our stuff on Facebook and has shared their appreciation of me. And one of our volunteers has helped loads at the centre. How have I been generous and kind? I always find that bit difficult. It took me a while to think of examples. Offering support. And I had done a litter pick. Again, that was when things were more allowable. And when have I witnessed kindness? Witnessing other people doing the litter pick. And somebody else who completely coincidentally had also been picking litter. So, yes, and again, when things were allowable. I had a friend round for dinner and tried out a new recipe, and he even took a doggy bag. I always like it when somebody enjoys the food that much that I've cooked that they take a doggy bag. So all of it's simple. None of it is, the huge things that happen. And yet, writing it and remembering those things is really positive. What do I love? What have I achieved? And I keep that readily to hand so that if something happens, I can go, let's journal that. So, again, try it yourself. Get yourself some really nice stationery. It's a shame we can't go into the shops and kind of pick things up and smell them, but find yourself a nice journal and give yourself permission. I think that's the other thing around journals. Even if it's the most beautiful stationery you've ever seen, the things that you will write are good enough for that book. And you are worthy of writing in it. So, I'll be back tomorrow. Or today. Depending on how much I get done today. But I will be back. You will see it tomorrow. And remember, you're still not alone. Bye.